Hey, this is Samantha once again. What about 10 of the videos? Another paid request. This time for Gia. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, Gia pretty much said he wanted me to talk about the Rock Dwayne Johnson's career in movies. And he mentioned about how I think he has seen was a Walking Tall or something, and he thought it was okay. And then after that, he thought it kind of went downhill in terms of enjoying his films. And I can see what he means by that. Because what I decided to do is I have a list of his films, and I'll give quick thoughts on each one. But while there are a handful of films he's been in since that time where I've enjoyed and liked it. I mean, I can name at least 5 or so films here. Easily my favorite is The Rundown. But I get what Dwayne Johnson was doing in a business sense. What I mean by that is, when he first entered movies, he was coming off of wrestling, being very successful in wrestling, and more so a heel than as a babyface. And then even as a heel, people liked him so much as a heel with his funny dialogue, one-liners, the way he would insult other wrestlers, his catchphrases, "Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?" and "What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is." That people started to like him. Granted, it seems like the public will always choose Steve Austin over him, but still people grew to like him. So it got to a point where, okay, he's getting to be more and more into movies. He's going to take a chance at Hollywood. The Mummy Returns. He has a big role. And then people are like, oh, who's this guy? Then that ends up being the Scorpion King starring role in 2002. And it goes on from there. Where after that, he would pop in every once in a while for wrestling, but he tried to start his movie career. And Hollywood is looking for that next action star. And you look at The Rock, he does have charisma. I do admit, the guy has a lot of charisma. He was charismatic as a wrestler. He can be charismatic as an actor, as an action star, with the right material, directors, everything in between. And at times, even in a lesser quality movie, his charisma still shows in those aspects. But I forget if it was Scott Adkins. I think it was Scott Adkins at one point. I forget which episode it was of The Art of Action, where it might have been. Was it Ernie Reyes Jr.? Because Ernie Reyes had worked with The Rock on The Rundown. But it might have been another movie. Anyway, or I mean, not a movie. Might have been another episode. But at one point, Scott Adkins said, "You know what? I like The Rock, but I kind of wish he would have done more movies like Arnold Schwarzenegger." I think what he means by that is more of those R-rated, adrenaline-pumping, adrenaline-charged, kick-ass movies, which The Rock really hasn't done one yet that's been that satisfying. He's done R-rated stuff, Doom, which I liked, but a lot of people didn't. Does have his issues, to be fair, and The Rock played the villain in that. Faster, which I'm not a fan of. I think that's actually one of his worst films. But this is what I was saying before, is I get what Dwayne Johnson was thinking of as a businessman, because he saw that as years went on, when he started doing these more either kid-friendly films or more safe films to be part of franchises, it got him a bit higher up in terms of box office and in terms of being recognized more and more by the public, in terms of the mainstream. Where it's not the hardcore fans he's looking for, it's the mainstream fans he's looking for. And even when he's doing films like the Game Plan, made a bit of money. When he's being a part of franchise films like Fast Five, G.I. Joe Retaliation. More people see him, they recognize him. Who's this guy? Let me see what this guy does. He gets to be a bit more with the Fast and Furious films, and then he gets to do films like Central Intelligence, which I do like, but it's more of a family-friendly film compared to Arnold's The Running Man, which sadly bombed, but I love that movie, or Commando, or Total Recall. And you realize, well, this is where the business sense and the money comes from in this day and age, at least for him. Well, Central Intelligence made money. Fast 5, Fast 6, Fury 7. Like, they made money. These films are PG-13. Okay, do more. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, made money. Oh, let me do, what was it, San Andreas, made a bit of money. Follow the money. What's going to garner me box office hits so I can still be one of the biggest box office stars, still garner that attention, make big paychecks, and if the money keeps being made, if the box office is still there, you continue that streak. But even then, I think either he or someone else has to tell him that the public is getting a bit tired of that stuff. And they feel that he's either playing the same guy over and over and over again. I can't tell you the difference. I could barely tell you the difference between his character in Skyscraper, other than he has a bum leg, or San Andreas, other than he's a pilot, or Rampage, other than he has a big monkey that gives him the middle finger. But you just say the same, to be fair, with Arnold. But at the same time, I still can see a bit of difference between Commando and Total Recall in terms of his characters. And even, Twins compared to Red Heat. I still see some difference between those and the Terminator. It seems like a bit less so with some of The Rock's films. And yeah, it would have been nice to see him do more of those R-rated, hardcore, badass movies like Stallone did with Cobra and Rambo, First Blood, Rambo First Blood Part 2, Jean-Claude Van Damme was doing with Hard Target and Time Cop. But again, the few times he did R-rated stuff, they didn't work well. Even ones that were PG-13, but they seemed like more in that regime, like The Rundown. Rundown was not a moneymaker. The Rundown did not do anything. So again, as a businessman, I get that he wants to follow the money. He wants to follow what the mainstream public wants, what the mainstream public recognizes as their form of entertainment, and that's where he went to. But sadly, when I look at his filmography, I would say 80% of his filmography, in my opinion, kind of sucks. And for his body of work, when I compare it to Sylvester Stallone, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, or even Scott Adkins, they're better. They're more films I'm willing to rewatch. I'm willing to rewatch more of Scott Adkins' Avengement, One Shot, Ninja Shadow of a Tear, Accident Man 1 and 2, than crap like Skyscraper or Baywatch, which that was R-rated, or fucking San Andreas. Well, I go through his career. Okay, The Mummy Returns, he had a bit role. People remember the garbage CGI of The Rock on the scorpion creature thing. I don't mind The Mummy Returns. I do think the first one was much better. I don't love the film. I don't hate the film. Scorpion King, his first lead role, pretty lukewarm on it. And as I open this, you don't hear the star of his career. And Scorpion King did make a bit of money. I don't remember it being a bomb or anything. Definitely made enough money to make a bunch of direct-to-video sequels. But the Scorpion King, maybe because I know where it leads to, I know where his character leads to, so all he's doing in the movie, I'm like, it doesn't matter, dude. I know where you're ending up. You're ending up losing a battle, making a pact with a curse, and you gonna live your life being a shitty CGI creature to fight Brendan Fraser at the end of the Money Returns. Like, I know where it's going. So when I know the end, when I know the finale of this character, your exploits just aren't that interesting. So it's like, it doesn't matter. I know where you're going. And it was PG-13. It felt like a much more tame version of Conan the Barbarian. And let's be honest, Dwayne Johnson wanted to be Arnold. He wanted Arnold's success. And that's what I mean. Arnold had a good business sense as well. He knew who he was. He knew he was commodity. Sally, I was not well, depending on who you talk to. That's why he was more successful than Sylvester Stallone. Now, Sylvester Stallone is my personal favorite because I love his films, even the ones that bombed, like Over the Top and Lock Up and stuff. But I love those films, but a lot of those films didn't do well. ICU went direct to video pretty much. Copland didn't do as well as it should have. Over the Top was a bomb. Lock Up was a bomb. Cobra underperformed. I love Cobra. I absolutely love Cobra right there. But that film only made like 49 million in the US. Deemed disappointing considering the previous year Rambo 2 made 150 million in the US. So you went from 150 million to not even 50 million. Yeah, that was labeled a big disappointment and no sequels and got derided by critics and even some fans at the time, and which is too bad because I think that film's badass. But anyway, but Arnold kind of knew to work with the right directors. In his eyes, would be okay. What up and coming guys are there? There's James Cameron, there's John McTiernan, there's Paul Verhoeven, there's Ivan Reitman, and he knew that he'd have control, but at the same time, he would give them a lot of control as well. Stallone would try to have more control, rewriting the scripts, and a lot of directors don't like that. That's why a lot of the big time directors didn't want to work with Stallone, while Arnold did. But anyway, getting back to this, like, The Rock wanted to be Arnold. Dwayne Johnson wanted to be Arnold. I mean, hell, that's why there's literally a cameo in the next year in the rundown with Arnold just literally passing the torch. As in walking by and going, have fun, in the rundown. And that was The Rock's second movie. I keep saying The Rock, Dwayne's. I'll call him Dwayne. His second movie, The Rundown, which to me is his best film. I mean, your best film is your second lead role. Directed by Peter Berg, kick-ass action movie, well done action sequences. Don't mind Sean William Scott. Has a fun adventure film quality to it. Christopher Walken is your villain. The Rundown is great. I'd recommend anybody The Rundown. Yes, it's PG-13, but you know what? It's still highly entertaining. But then that film didn't do well. Then he did Walking Tall. Walking Tall, I thought was okay. I thought it was fine. It wasn't fantastic or awesome, but I liked it. I liked The Rock. Dwayne. I liked Dwayne in it. I liked Johnny Knoxville. I don't mind Knoxville. I liked him in the Jackass stuff. I liked him in The Last Stand with Arnold Schwarzenegger or Skip Trace with Jackie Chan. I think Knoxville fit well. I mean, the villain, Neil McDonough, I mean, he did what he had to do. Like, I didn't mind The Walking Tall. I've seen much worse movies. And especially in this filmography, much worse movies. Walking Tall was decent for what it needed to be. But it wasn't a game changer. It wasn't highly memorable, but it was fine. Be Cool, that was a sequel to Get Shorty, and he played a supporting role, tried to stretch his acting muscles. I don't know if Be Cool really did anything. Then you have Doom. Doom came out, R-rated horror action film, completely bombed. bombed with fans, bombed with critics. I liked the film. I saw it in theaters. It's not even close to the definitive Doom movie, but I still liked it for what it is. I like the action set pieces. I like the score by, I want to say, Clint Mansell. I want to say it was him who worked with Nine Inch Nails. I like some of the makeup effects by Stan Winston's company. Carl Urban is great as the lead. It was cool to see Dwayne Johnson as the villain. See, that's a guy, people say he always gives the same performance. He does not do that in Doom. That's why in retrospect it's more refreshing. Because he's a hard-nosed Sarge and he becomes the villain. Super fire, motherfucker. And like I said, it's refreshing to see him do something different. Which he would not do much because that film bombed. He hated it. Most people hated it. So there you go. But Doom, I do like. That's actually one of my favorite Dwayne movies. The Rundown is number one, but Doom would be in there. Southland Tales, he starred in that. That was a terrible film, completely confusing. From the director Donnie Darko, it showed that the director only had one good movie in him. It was Donnie Darko. The Southland Tales, it was confusing. It was muddled. It was all over the place. By starring roles, okay, the game plan, they're goofy, dumb, lame family film, but it made a lot of money. Football player doing with a little girl. Gridiron Gang, more of drama. I don't know if that really did much of anything at the box office. I can't remember. There are people that remember that with fond memories. It was there for me. Let's see. He had a big part in Get Smart in 2008. And Reno 911 Miami in 2007. I like Reno 911. I even like that movie, Miami. Didn't like the box office on fire at all. But Game Plan made some money. So, okay, gotta do more family films. So, Race to Witch Mountain. Voice in Planet 51. The Tooth Fairy. I mean, The Tooth Fairy and Game Plan, again, very Disney, kooky, cringeworthy movies. That's kind of a guy that I could deal with The Pacifier with Vin Diesel. I actually thought that was funnier than both the Game Plan and Tooth Fairy put together. Now, Race to Witch Mountain I do like. That'd actually be in my top 5 Dwayne Johnson movies. Like Race to Witch Mountain, I liked his character, typical normal cab driver. I'm not overly familiar with the original Witch Mountain movies. I know there's 2 of them. I like some of the practical effects they had in there. I thought the movie went at a very fast pace. I'm sitting there going, well, dude, you don't need to do a Big Trouble in Little China remake. You kind of played that same type of character in Race to Witch Mountain. I mean, the fucking character's name is literally Jack. In this case, Jack Bruno? Jack Burton? Jack Bruno. It's literally Jack and a B. Instead of Burton is Bruno. Instead of a truck driver, you're a cab driver. As a guy put into extraordinary, weird circumstances, I'm like, yeah, dude, you don't need to do a Big Trouble in Little China remake. You did that. It's called Race to Witch Mountain. And I actually think that's, of the Disney stuff he did, that's actually, I think, the best one he did. I thought it was much more enjoyable than The Game Plan or Tooth Fairy. The other guys, he was enjoyable in his small role with Sam Jackson. Faster, not a fan. I know a lot of people like that film. They go, how could you not like it? It's very boring. It's very pretentious. It's not a badass vigilante revenge action movie. It's trying to be thought-provoking about religion and fate, and his name is Driver, and he's going to do this. You know what? If I want to see Driver, I'll go watch Drive with Ryan Gosling. Much better than this. To me, Faster is bullshit advertising. Because it's slow as hell. Fast, more like slower. And then you have Fast Five, which would be in my top five of Dwayne's movies. He's a great addition to that franchise. Reinvigorated aspects after the lame fourth film, and Fast Five to me is the best one of that franchise. Journey to Mysterious Island took over for Brendan Fraser. I mean, yeah, he played a different character, but the first Journey to Center Earth had Brendan Fraser, and I think that made at least a little bit of money. To me, it was pretty forgettable. Snitch did nothing. Snitches did stitches. I don't know what to tell you with that. G.I. Joe Retaliation as Roadblock. Still thought it was lame. In fact, part of me thinks it's even lamer than the first one because this had ideas to improve on it, and instead, like, tries to do fan service, but instead comes off as more boring. And it was a movie where the trailer was better than the movie. Pain and Gain, Michael Bay film. I did like that movie. I mean, if I like the Rundown, Doom, Race to Witch Mountain, Fast Five, Pain and Gain, Central Intelligence, Fast and Furious 6. Like, those would be the movies he's in that I enjoy. And Pain and Gain, despite the fact Mark Wahlberg is in it, I thought it was very weird, stylized in the Michael Bay version of bodybuilding and crime, and I thought it was actually pretty funny at times and pretty crazy at other times, and as a film I thought would be absolute jank and actually quite enjoyed. Fast and Furious 6 made money. He knew he had to do something quick. His Empire State was a film he did, then went direct to video. So, okay, let me do a Hercules movie. Let me do these big budget PG-13, safe to market to kids movies like San Andreas, which I thought was a boring, lame, forgettable movie. I'm like, didn't we already do this movie? It was called 2012. Like, when you watch 2012 and the whole world ends, like, what the hell is San Andreas really going to offer? Not much of Jaga. I just, other than now Dwayne's in it. Hercules, don't give a crap about that one. Central Intelligence I thought was funny. Kevin Hart was actually manageable in that. And hey, Dwayne Johnson played a different type of role to give credit to, where he tried to stretch a little bit. Moana, I should remember not minding that. He plays a voice in that film, Disney film. Fast and Furious 8, which is going to be the last Fast and Furious film he's in. Furious 7, I have a lot of issues with it. The Fate of the Furious, I liked it. A lot of people hated it. I liked it for what it was. Baywatch, horrible, horrible R-rated comedy version of the regular Baywatch. Baywatch did not need a movie, let alone a comedy where one of the jokes is was like putting a dead guy's balls on someone's face, or put his balls on someone's face, or I forget what the hell the damn joke was. Like crap like that. Just that's what you needed from a Baywatch movie. And then the Jumanji sequels, not a fan. I thought they had none of the magic of the original Jumanji. Them being avatars, and these kids jump into these avatars. I'm sitting there going, what? Like, okay, so we're watching these characters, but they're not really real. They're just fake versions of these real people underneath. And Kevin Hart's character's weakness is pastries or donuts or whatever the hell it was called. Jack Black, I'm acting like a girl, and that's funny. supposedly for 100 minutes. Not to me. Rampage, not a fan of Rampage at all. Well, I shouldn't say at all. I'd probably watch that over Skyscraper, and I would watch that over. I would watch that over Skyscraper or San Andreas because you had a couple moments of either the big white gorilla kicking some ass or the Rock having this big gun just shooting some creatures, but ideas of them I could maybe tolerate it as a time waster. To be fair, I do remember the one thing I remember about that is that was when a guy who was subscribed to me got really angry and had a freak out because I remember this specifically. The movie was coming out, and the guy had said, "Hey, I saw this film. I really enjoyed it. Are you going to check it out?" And I remember specifically. I replied like this: "Nah, not really. I'm not going to check out a film where a giant albino gorilla gives the Rock the middle finger at least twice in the movie. No thanks." That's literally how I typed it. And the guy freaked out, and apparently that was me being rude and angry. I'm like, no, I answer your question. I'm like, no, I don't want to see a film where a giant albino gorilla gives the Rock the middle finger twice. No thanks. Like, how is that? See, that's why sometimes I don't really reply to comments because I'm like, if you don't take that as a attack, I don't understand it. But I do remember that specifically because my mind was just boggled by that. Completely boggled. Skyscraper, a terrible, terrible version of Die Hard. Because it's just lame, forgettable, sanitized version of Die Hard with a lot of CGI, PG 13, not a villain noteworthy from 100 miles. If I want to see someone make a ridiculous jump, I'll go watch Cliffhanger again. I'll go watch the lead scene in Cliffhanger, where he actually did jump from one to the other, like the trailer and Cliffhanger showed. So I'm sorry, Skyscraper, Shitscraper, can scrape my ass cheeks from all the doo doo. If I Were My Family, a lame comedy about, I forget who the hell the wrestler was. I forgot her name. Dwayne plays himself. I don't care. Did not give a crap about that movie. Let's see, Hobbs and Shaw. Yes, I will admit, I liked it. I thought it was okay. But I didn't give it tremendous praise because it didn't deserve tremendous praise. And I can see why a lot of people disliked it. I don't defend the film. I don't put up my dues and defend it. I'll defend buddy films or buddy cop films or whatever the hell you call it. I'll defend Split Second. I'll defend Tango and Cash. I'll defend Showdown Low Tokyo. I'll defend I Come in Peace. I'll defend a lot of them. Hobbs and Shaw, not really. Did I hate it? No, because Jason Statham and The Rock, I do like them and want to like them. Idris Elba, I do like him as an actor. And I'm watching, I'm okay, this is a fluff piece, but it should have been much more than a fluff piece. Much, much more. There's a lot of potential left on the table. There's a lot of potential left up in the air. A lot of potential that was not utilized remotely. Like Hobbs and Shaw should have been a much better movie, much more kick-ass movie, much more of a crazier movie. And they dropped the ball. That's why it came out and nothing really happened, and then it kind of disappeared, and you're not going to get a sequel, and there's that. So they definitely dropped the ball on that. I think the script, the usage of CGI, the whole bit with having Roman Reigns and The Rock and their native land and doing this, like, gives a shit about that. Jumanji: The Next Level, I don't remember a damn thing about that movie, and I know I saw it. I just remember being as boring and lame as the previous one, only Danny Glover and Danny DeVito somehow got involved with it. Jungle Cruise, pretty much make The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, but make it with the Jungle Cruise attraction and make it very forgettable and boring. That's what I'm saying. Like, these movies like Skyscraper, Jumanji: Next Level, Jungle Cruise, no one gave a crap about these movies. Even Hobbs and Shaw, no one gave a crap about. So he's like taking these roles and disappointing you, like, dude, just take a break. In 5 years, literally in 5 years, he did Fate of the Furious, Baywatch, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, Rampage, Skyscraper. You're in Fine with My Family. You're in Hobbs and Shaw, Jumanji: Next Level, Jungle Cruise, Red Notice, Black Adam, voice in DC League of Super Pets as a lead voice. People are like, God, just go away. Just go. You're getting to be the Adam Sandler type of go away heat. The don't wrestling terms, you're getting the X-Pot heat. That's the heat you're getting, X-Pot heat. Go away heat. I'm a guy that disagreed. I don't think X-Pot was that bad. I always liked Sean Waltman, 1-2-3 Kid. You're getting go away heat, though. Where people don't want to see you anymore. And now you're doing another one with Chris Evans. Forget what the hell. Red 1 or Red something. Gives a shit. Red Notice. I know Ryan Reynolds was in it, and Gal Gadot, and good luck trying to remember a damn thing about that movie. Because I sure as hell don't. Something about getting treasure. I'm like, go watch The Rundown instead. Oh, you're the voice of Crypto the dog in DC League of Super Pets? Whoop-de-doo. Black Adam? Pierce Brosnan and the other heroes stole the show from you. It gets to a point where at this point now, Rock, and like he had that TV show Young Rock that I didn't see, didn't care to see. You need to take a break. You need to take a step back. You literally fuck your own face. No. You need to take a step back. Smoke a joint. If you don't smoke a joint, smoke something. Smoke some HGG, HGH. Something more to get your biceps, 3 more times the size they already are. They already look like cantaloupes on top of cantaloupes. They already look like a bag of oranges fucked a bag of grapes. And this is their concoction of semen producing through your veins. Lay off the steroids or whatever the hell you're doing. HGH, whatever. Take a break. Look at strips. How can we miss you if you never go away? Let us miss you, Rock. And then come out with a bang on, like, your version of Total Recall with Arnold or Running Man or Commando or something. I'm not saying rip off those movies. I'm not saying that, but like Arnold comes back with True Lies. Yeah. With a movie that gets us go, oh, okay, we missed you. Okay, give us more movies of this stature. Movies this good, please do more. But he's done a lot of very forgettable, in one ear out the other, to try to be consumed by the mass markets. See, I'm trying to talk and literally my body's like, stop it. Just stop it. Stop it. Take a break. Take a piss break. Take a potty break. Take a game plan. Take anything. Take a break. Chill pill, whatever. Don't go back to wrestling either. Take a break from that too. Be done. Tired of these older guys going back into wrestling to try to hope save the fledgling ratings. Just let WWE die. Dan, how can we miss you if you don't go away? God, just needs to take a damn break. Because now your product is becoming bland, becoming tasteless paste. Brand X. It's not the actual brand, it's just brand it. Just here's something, okay, throw it away, wash it, throw it away. No one's going to remember Red Notice. No one's going to remember Skyscraper. People will remember this movie. It might not have done the best, but people remember Cobra. People remember Over the Top. People remember True Lies. People remember Total Recall, the original. They're not going to remember Rampage. They're not going to remember Hobbs and Shaw. They're not going to remember... I already forgot. Snitch. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.